What is Suikoden and why is it worth your time and money? Hello physical fiends, it's Jordan here with another worth a purchase where I play a game for a short amount of time to see if I would purchase it myself. Today, it's Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster and the answer is yes, buy it right now. Anyways, it's releasing digitally this week, probably already out by the time you see this, but this is Physical Paradise and I only care about physical releases, and this thankfully does have a physical release. Purchase links are down below in the description and pinned comment if you want to buy it and support me, but maybe you want to know more about the game first. What is it? Well, Suikoden 1 and 2 are two magnificent JRPGs that grace the PlayStation 1. That's, although no one said a bad word about them, and many praised the second as being one of the best of the era, they didn't get the sales loving they probably deserved. When the gaming industry was turning 3D, these gorgeous pixel games weren't getting much attention at the time. They are brilliant games though that every JRPG fan should play. If you follow my other channel, Jordan's Retro Game Adventure, you'll know that I made a long video on both of these games totaling 5 hours of me singing my praises about them. These games, especially the first, was my childhood. It was my go-to JRPG when I needed to feel warm and comfy. And since they are releasing on modern platforms in this remaster, I want to sing their praises again, just a bit more succinctly this time. So I'm going to talk about the games at their core, but then later about the remaster. Together, they are a duology and probably the best two connected games I've ever played. To get the full breadth of scope that these two individual stories have, you need to play them back to back, and you definitely need to 100% the first game and the second game, which isn't as daunting as it sounds. They offer incredible twists and turns that if you boil them down to their most simple premise, you have two plots of, the spunky little rebels trying to take down an evil empire. But it offers so much more than that, with shocks every step of the way, an amazing set of characters who are not one note. Even the villains can have a lot of depth and grey area morals. Their reasoning can be actually solid if misguided. Well, aside from Luca Blight, but you gotta respect the unwavering desire for evil with that guy. The cast is huge for each game. One of the series' gimmicks is the 108 Stars of Destiny. You can recruit up to 108 unique characters, each with their own personality, background, purpose, and recruitment requirements. Many characters join automatically over the course of the story, but there are plenty who are optional and even have puzzle-like elements in order to gain them. There are secrets and mysteries, and if you want the best ending, you'll definitely need to recruit every single one. That is part of the fun and the challenge. The first game especially is essential to do so if you want the full fat experience in Suikoden 2. When booting up Suikoden 2, you are invited to load your save file from the original game, and if that save file is at the last save point in the original game with all characters recruited, that elevates the second game into legendary status. That is how connected they are. They have individual stories, but this unique mechanic brings them together unbelievably well. It will make you an emotional imbecile. You need those 108 stars in Suikoden 1, and then Suikoden 2, just to get the best of everything, trust me. What do you do with all these characters? Well, your battle party has 6 people in it. Now there's often a few story mandatory characters in there, plus your main character, but it leaves a lot of room to play around with because of just the absolute wealth of fighters available. You have a mix of short range fighters, long range, and those that can fight in any lane, and it also mixes between physical attackers and those adept at magic, which plays a big part in the plot and character customization. Despite having up to 6 characters in your party, the battles fly by at a really decent pace, often much quicker than other games of the era, which had fewer party members. I'm still waiting for some Final Fantasy IX battles to finish right now. Once you've selected your actions, which is very snappy, all your parties jump out at pretty much the same time to do their business. Battles are random encounters, which will always cheese a few people off, but I don't think it's overly egregious. Well, okay, it is probably egregious for plenty of people, but I'm so used to it, it really doesn't bother me at all. Plus, as I said, the battles are pretty fast. And even better, leveling up your under-leveled characters is an absolute breeze. The leveling system in Suikoden is fantastic. When you recruit someone, but they're like 10 levels behind your main character, and you don't want to use them, nonsense, they will catch up in a couple of battles. So you should experiment, try new people. It's fun finding out all the hidden gems, the disappointments. Like, you'd think some bloke would be badass, but he turns out pretty average, while some random farmer bloke turns into a tank and leads your line in the final battle. Okay, that's not a spoiler, it's just an example, and I can't remember how good the farmer dude is. But things like that can happen. Not all of them can be used in fights, but that's where your castle comes in. Yes, both games, you get a castle, or at least it will be a castle once you've spruced it up a bit, and this will become a home to you and your crew. They hang around here, you can chat with them, but also the non-combatants will likely do something fun or useful here. Open a shop, open a storage space, a side quest thing, maybe a minigame, loads of stuff. And that is what makes it addictive to try and get all of them, because you want to see how this place grows, what they offer. It's really a home from home, and both games do it fantastically in their own way. Character recruitment, base building, these are the glue that makes this such a unique and wonderful game, alongside with the amazing stories. But I've just been talking about things that are still entirely relevant to the original. Now, you could pop in a PS1 disc if you're a millionaire right now, and still get the same as what I've just talked about. So how about this remaster? What does it involve? Before I do though, if you're new here or you're a viewer who relies on the algorithm to be shown the video, do me a favor and subscribe. In fact, you'll be doing yourself a favor. If you like physical media, that is. The bigger this channel is, the more publishers will pay attention to the demand for physical video games. So it's almost a duty at this point, okay? Hit that subscribe button. So the first thing is the visual upgrade. Perhaps this is subjective. I get it's not the biggest makeover in gaming history, and admittedly, I wasn't enamored by it during the reveal trailer. It didn't bother me that much since I was just happy this thing was actually happening, but having it now on my Nintendo Switch on a big TV, I like it. I like it way more than I thought I would. Now, Suikoden 2 isn't actually that different from the original. It was always an amazing looking pixel game from 1999, but Suikoden 1 has benefited from the biggest facelift. Is it a bit too shiny? Perhaps, but I still think it looks great, and they went above even what I expected with adding more interesting visuals to early game dungeons. It looks a lot better. Now, performance on Switch is 99% perfect in my time with this remaster so far. The early sections of Suikoden 2 has a lot of fire effects on screen at once, which leaves an early, oh god, this is chugging kind of feeling, but it is a minuscule section, and I can only think of a few small places in the game where this may occur again, and yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. The character portraits for Suikoden 1 have been redrawn from scratch. They've taken inspiration from the original in terms of posture and such, but it's basically new art for all of the characters. Some I like more than the original, some I like less, like Taiho, man. What happened to Shaggy from Scooby-Doo? But hey, at least Marco has now stopped looking like a sweet little old lady as you gamble away your fortune to him. It's interesting how the low-res pixels of the original were filled up by my imagination. Like Matthew in this remaster, he's a bit more gruff than I really gave him credit for. That is a strong nose, my boy. Interestingly, they couldn't be asked for Suikoden 2. They are the same pictures as the original, just high resolution, maybe touched up. Maybe the original files were still usable, or maybe the character artist's fingers were falling off by the time they got to doing this game. Either way, it doesn't matter. Everything looks fantastic. The sprites are awesome and wonderful as well. The music, exactly the same, probably a bit more clearer now. Both games have very good soundtracks, especially the original, or maybe that's just nostalgia speaking to me. There's also some new sound effects which fit in well, some nice punchy impacts going on. Now, one of the things I was very interested in was the English, because let's face it, despite not ruining the games, the original English scripts were full of errors, especially the second game, and while I've not had time to go through everything, I can safely say it's exactly what I was hoping for, because it retains what you remember from the original, often using the exact same lines you love and know, but fixing the errors where they originally were. So it's not a completely different script, which would have perhaps put me off, but it's the original and now tighter and more correct, but not perfect. I already came across one error, even super early on in Suikoden 2. It could be a script error, it could be a programming mistake. I didn't capture footage of this part because it's not a very interesting section, but when you're doing chores at the fort, you are asked to grab some flint, flour, and boots. But this remake, you are only asked to get boots. I was like, oh, okay, maybe now it just wants me to get them one at a time, less to memorize, accessibility and all that. But no, when I brought the boots back, the dude's like, where's everything else? Oh, you mean the stuff that you didn't tell me? Okay, maybe that'll be fixed in a patch, and it is a minor error in a game that has now mostly been corrected. One of the most interesting aspects of this remaster is the added difficulty options. I think most would agree that aside from a couple of rogue boss fights here and there, you know what I'm talking about, Suikoden 1 and 2 were breezy JRPGs without much need for grinding, mainly thanks to the excellent leveling system and balance. But now, there are 3 difficulties: easy, normal, and hard. Playing on normal, I actually think it is just a tad more difficult than the original. Maybe easy mode is based off the original, I'm not sure. But I cannot wait to get stuck into hard mode one day. This will make long-term fans very happy. Battles can now be played fully in auto. This was a feature of the originals, but you had to select it every round. Now it's automatically auto all the way, if that makes sense. And you can speed up the battles, which I don't think was massively necessary. The battles tend to be fast as is, but it's nice that it's there. A nice way to speed up the last attack on the last monster, What I don't like is that it speeds up the music. What's that all about? Fix that, Konami. There is an autosave feature, but it's so ridiculous you might as well pretend it doesn't exist. Just save manually every time, okay? With multiple save files as well, because it's really easy to mess up a few recruitments, and you're gonna want to go for that 100%. Is this remaster minimally done? Yes, but that's alright for me. The more you mess with a masterpiece, the greater the chance you'll mess something up. Whether it's being respectful or lazy, I don't know which one they did, but they did the right thing in my opinion. I absolutely love these games, and I am absolutely happy with this product. It could have gone horribly wrong in so many ways, and that was always in the back of my mind leading up to release. But they pulled it off, and Suikoden is back. So, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster does have a physical release on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox. Yes, Xbox gamers, you always go on about it. Well, do your duty, okay? This is worldwide, and there's no funny business with region-exclusive versions. If you click the link down below in the description and pinned comment and purchase it, that massively helps support me and this channel to keep producing useful video content for you guys. And of course, it will help Suikoden as a franchise. VGP have free worldwide shipping on this release, and if you buy something with my link, each week you get put into a draw to have a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon, the winner of which I announce every Monday in my weekly video. So thank you so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Overall, I don't think we could have expected more. Of course, you could have asked for more, but let's be realistic. This is Suikoden's chance to shine. Okay, it had some digital releases on PSN like 15 years ago or whatever. That had very little publicity, but this is its big chance, and it needs to succeed, in my opinion, for any chance of a Suikoden 6 happening in the future, and I'm not talking about the mobile game. If you've never played these before and you like JRPGs, these are essential reading in my opinion. They are fantastic, and they are now accessible, great looking, great playing. Give them a go, and I'm pretty sure you will not regret it. This double pack is an essential 10 out of 10 all day long. And that's just for Suikoden 2. This also has Suikoden 1, which I think makes it an 11 out of 10. No way, that means Suikoden 1 is a 1 out of 10. No, okay, it's a 21 out of 10. Beat that. These games offer some of my best childhood memories of endless days with endless JRPGs. When you're 10 and you're invested in this vast world with a never-ending story and characters, I truly hope this succeeds and creates new memories for more people, more kids out there. If you watched all the way through, please leave me a star emoji in the comments, because you're a legend and you are one of my stars of destiny.